Diamond is a paramagnetic material. A. True. B. False. C. D. The correct answer is false. Which capacitors store higher amount of energy? A. Air capacitor. B. Paper capacitor. C. Mica capacitor. D. Plastic film capacitor. The correct answer is mica capacitor. Above ferroelectric Curie temperature, spontaneous polarization in ferroelectric materials becomes stronger. A. True. B. False. C. D. The correct answer is false. In paramagnetic materials, A. Permanent magnetic dipoles exist but the interaction between neighboring dipoles is negligible. B. Permanent magnetic dipole do not exist. C. Permanent magnetic dipoles exist and the interaction between neighboring dipoles is very strong. D. Permanent magnetic dipole moment may or may not exist. The correct answer is permanent magnetic dipoles exist but the interaction between neighboring dipoles is negligible. The conductivity of intrinsic semiconductor is given by A. NIPN, B. NIPN, C. NIPN, D. NIPN. The correct answer is NIPN. The core of a coil has a length of 10 centimeters. The self-inductance is 8 mH. If the core length is doubled, all other quantities remaining the same, the self-inductance will be A. 32 mH, B. 16 mH, C. 8 mH, D. 4 mH. The correct answer is 4 mH. The minority carrier lifetime and diffusion constant in a semiconducting material are 100 s and 100 cm 2s respectively. The diffusion length of carriers is A. 0.1 cm, B. 0.01 cm, C. 0.0141 cm, D. 1 cm. The correct answer is 0.1 centimeters. Two materials having temperature coefficients of 0.004 and 0.0004 respectively are joined in series. The overall temperature coefficient is likely to be A. 0.08, B. 0.04, C. 0.001, D. 0.0001. The correct answer is 0.001. The number of valence electrons in pentavalent impurity is A. 5, B. 4, C. 3, D. 1. The correct answer is 5. If the diameter of a wire is doubled, its current carrying capacity becomes A. 1/4, B. half, C. twice, D. 4 times. The correct answer is 4 times. The law JE, where J is current density, is electrical conductivity and E is field strength, is A. Ohm's law, B. Gauss' law, C. Ampere's law, D. Biot-Savart law. The correct answer is Ohm's law. Material which lack permanent magnetic dipoles are known as A. paramagnetic, B. dimagnetic, C. ferromagnetic, D. ferrimagnetic. The correct answer is dimagnetic. A parallel plate capacitor has its length, width and separation doubled. Its fringing effects are neglected to keep the capacitance same. The dielectric constant must be A. halved, B. kept the same, C. doubled, D. made 4 times. The correct answer is halved. In atomic physics, a state with L0 is called p state. A. true, B. false, C. D. The correct answer is false. If a sample of germanium and a sample of silicon have the same impurity density and are kept at room temperature, A. both will have equal value of resistivity, B. both will have equal negative resistivity, C. Resistivity of germanium will be higher than that of silicon. D. Resistivity of silicon will be higher than that of germanium. The correct answer is resistivity of silicon will be higher than that of germanium. When an electric field E is applied to solid and liquid insulating materials, the internal field EI acting at the location of atom is such that AEIE, BEIE, CEIE, DEI may be equal to or less than E. The correct answer is EIE. Which element exhibits the property of inertia? A. Resistance, B. Capacitance, C. Inductance, D. Both resistance and inductance. The correct answer is inductance. For a permanent magnetic material, the residual induction and coercive field should be large. B. The residual induction and coercive field should be small. C. Area of hysteresis loop should be small. D. Initial relative permeability should be high. The correct answer is the residual induction and coercive field should be large. In a coaxial cable, braided copper is used for A. Conductor, B. Shield, C. Dielectric, D. Jacket. The correct answer is shield. The hysteresis phenomenon in ferromagnetic materials exists at all temperatures. A. True, B. False, C. D. The correct answer is false. The attraction between the nucleus and valence electron of copper atom is A. 0, B. weak, C. strong, D. either 0 or strong. The correct answer is weak. If the temperature of an extrinsic semiconductor is increased so that the intrinsic carrier concentration is doubled, then the majority carrier density is doubled. B. The minority carrier density is doubled. C. The minority carrier density becomes 4 times the original value. D. Both the majority and minority carrier densities double. The correct answer is both the majority and minority carrier densities double. There is no hysteresis phenomenon is any dielectric material. A. True, B. False, C. D. The correct answer is false. The units of 0 and R are A. hm for both, B. hm for R and no units for 0, C. hm for 0 and no units for R, D. wbm for 0 and no units for R. The correct answer is hm for 0 and no units for R. In metals, the valence electron wave functions are strongly perturbed by the presence of neighboring atoms. A. True, B. False, C. D. The correct answer is true. For a paramagnetic material, susceptibility increases with increasing temperature. A. True, B. False, C. D. The correct answer is false. Hydrogen is used in A. large size transformers, B. MCB, C. large size generators, D. circuit breakers. The correct answer is large size generators. If E is the charge of an electron, R is the radius of its orbit and is the angular velocity of electron, the magnetic dipole moment m of the orbit is MER2. A. True, B. False, C. D. The correct answer is false. At room temperature, the current in intrinsic semiconductor is due to A. holes, B. electrons, C. ions, D. holes and electrons. The correct answer is holes and electrons. Ferroelectric materials are those which A. cannot be polarized, B. have a permanent polarization, C. have A E equal to 0, D. have P0. The correct answer is have a permanent polarization. If N denotes principal quantum number, the angular quantum number L01, N1, A true, B false, C, D. The correct answer is true. If a piece of wood is placed in a magnetic field, the magnetic field will not be affected. B. The magnetic lines of force will bend towards the piece. C. The magnetic lines of force will bend away from the piece. D. The flux may increase or decrease. The correct answer is the magnetic field will not be affected. The number of valence electrons in donor impurity are A5, B4, C3, D1. The correct answer is 5. In a true valence crystal, the bonding between the atoms is accomplished by the sharing of valence electrons. A true, B false, C, D. The correct answer is true. Which of the following are donor impurities? A123, B1246, C3456, D245. The correct answer is 245.